Well, I think that's what postseason is all about. Teams that are still playing have won a great deal throughout the season. They play extremely well. I thought, New Mexico State's champions of the Western Athletic Conference, they played tremendously, and I thought it was a game that we were in control in the first half. New Mexico State made a run, and game got down to 3 points, and then I thought Taylor Rusk really made some big plays. Her steal out on top by half court and finish for a lay-in gave us a 5-point lead, and then it really got the crowd into it. And I thought the crowd was just tremendous tonight to give us that energy. And then Taylor makes another steal on a rotation. So here she has 3 steals tonight. 2 of them come in the last 2.5 minutes, exactly when we needed them. And then I knew that Liv Roberts was excited to play in her first postseason tournament. And you saw a senior really step up, felt comfortable tonight. To have 22 points at halftime, and she was perfect shooting from the field. That tells me her focus was right where it needed to be, and I couldn't be happier for her getting that opportunity. We went with a different lineup tonight in the second half. We had to play big to make sure we had enough scorers on the floor all the time, and I thought Marta Gomez did a great job defensively, specifically because she had to guard a point guard, and she did exactly how we wanted her to guard. And we had enough people offensively to keep scoring. And I knew this was going to be a game where we were going to have to really make sure we had scoring in the second half.
Joe, the kids mentioned that it felt like you guys were in control of this game for the most part, but you never could get that big lead. I guess how uncomfortable is that when you feel like you're in control, but you can't get control?
What I told the team at halftime is nobody are you going to be up big on them. Everybody's talented. Everybody's used to winning. And you have to continue to make play after play after play. And I thought we did that in the second half, specifically in the last 4 or 5 minutes. One of the things we took a look at is that, once again, we shoot the ball extremely well offensively, and it's a 3-point ball game. Well, you take a look at it, we had 17 turnovers. We didn't have enough opportunities. We made an adjustment in the second half of how we wanted to attack certain sets, and I thought we executed that well. And then in the first half, we had Taylor Rusk open twice, Marta Gomez twice, and Shalali twice, and we go 0 for 6. I'll take my chances with those 3 players shooting open threes, and told them just keep hanging in there. You're going to make some shots. And I thought Bailey Cotton hit a big baseline jump shot for us when they had the momentum again, and Bailey answered with about a 10, 12-foot shot.
How difficult of a task was it, from what you noticed, to try and defend both Pack and Salas?
I tell you what, it is extremely difficult because they can shoot the 3, they can put the ball on the floor, they can jump over you to score at mid-range. They have a step-back move, which makes it extremely difficult. We had to make an adjustment in the second half and put Taylor Rusk on Salas, and I thought Taylor did a really good job to 5 points, and she hit a 3 at the end, and we missed a switch that we talked about. But it's difficult. You see why they average about 36 points together. Tonight they get 41. A very difficult matchup for anybody.
So you mentioned all year how you're asking Taylor a lot, and you mentioned you had to put her on Salas in the second half, and yet she still comes up with a big second half offensively. She just seems to be on a really bit of a roll.
Yeah, Taylor's played well all season long. When you're asked to take the toughest defensive assignment, to score points, to play the backup point guard position when you're not a point guard, that's a lot on a sophomore's plate. I should say that's a lot on anyone's plate, let alone being a sophomore. And I think Taylor's responded all year long. And I think what I really liked tonight, she turned the ball over trying to drive to the basket when we were up 3. And instead of, she didn't hang her head, feel sorry for herself, she goes out and makes the biggest steal of the game and finishes on a very tough breakaway. And that is a tremendous learning lesson for every player, that you move on, and I thought Taylor moved on from her turnover.
You guys have had a couple games down the stretch where you've let leads like this get away. How nice was it to see them kind of fight through that and fight through that adversity and find a way to win one?
Well, one of the things we talk about is everybody's going to make runs. And one of the things I know, we've made our runs throughout the season and won several close basketball games where we had the momentum. And you always need a team or someone on your team to step up and stop the momentum. And I thought Bailey did that with her jumper. Taylor definitely did it with her steal. And then Liv just kept us in the game. If we wouldn't have had the big first half by Liv, it would have been a difficult half to talk about how we needed to make a change. So, and I think in one sequence we talked about there was a 2-minute span where every person on the floor made a play to contribute to our victory, and that's exactly what we need from this team. And so moving forward, things only get more difficult. We know that, but I was like the way this team responded tonight. We tried to go to our bench some because we just know how difficult it is each and every night and try to rest players. But then it became a point where we had to make sure we had the best 5 people on the floor offensively to be able to try to outscore them down the stretch.
Talk about moving on. You know, you did this last year too. You got to the second round. Kids mentioned they remember that loss to Washington State. I would imagine they will have a little bit of motivation on Sunday.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, what we talked about all year and in practice this week, is what this team's done is showed up to compete for 40 minutes every night. And some nights we don't shoot the ball well. Some nights we don't make as many plays as we need to, and we get a loss. But for the most part, the competitiveness has been there, and I'm happy about that. And I said nothing changes now. And I think you saw us play with a lot of ease tonight. And that was something I was real curious how that was going to be, specifically, as we say, with Liv being in her first game. And I didn't think Liv pressed at all. She just let the game come to her, and that was a big part of it. And then when she's playing well, it definitely relaxes everyone else.